Ambassador McFaul, Ukraine didn't comment on that attack in Russia. But how significant of a development would that be if Ukraine shows it can reach Russian soil?
Well, whenever I hear a senior government official say, I can neither confirm nor deny, that sounds like they're actually confirming, because otherwise they would have denied it. So it sounds like they did complete this operation. It sounds like they wanted to demonstrate that they have that capability. And I think they wanted to demonstrate that war is war. And if you're going to fuel your planes and you're going to fuel your weapons, your trucks across the border from Kharkiv, we're going to strike you where you're fueling your weapons and your trucks and your automobiles that are striking us.
Any concern, Ambassador, that the Russians will view this attack on Russian soil by Ukraine and say, okay, yeah, war is war, but where'd those weapons come from? And if those weapons came from the West, use that as a reason to lob bombs into Poland, for instance?
Well, first, those weapons didn't come from us, from the reporting, so that's good news. Okay. But second, I think that's highly, highly unlikely. We keep hearing about if you do that, there's going to be escalation. Well, let's define escalation. Russian armed forces are having an incredibly difficult time fighting against an army that is not as well equipped as it should be and has not nearly the capacity of the NATO alliance, let alone the most powerful military in the world, the United States of America. So in this moment right now, I think it's highly unlikely that Putin would say, oh, I want to expand this war. I want to get NATO involved and I want to get the United States of America involved. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think what they're doing is they keep using those words. They keep saying those things precisely to make the NATO alliance, including the United States, worried about arming the Ukrainians. And I think we should be strong here and just do what we said we're going to do, continue to arm them. I applaud what the Pentagon just announced a few minutes ago, $300 million more in military assistance. The only way there will be peace in Ukraine is if there is a military stalemate. And until there is not a military stalemate, Putin will continue to attack. And therefore, if you want peace, you got to help bring about that stalemate.
One more question for you, Ambassador McFaul. Speaking of the Pentagon canceled a missile test launch over concerns Putin would view it as escalatory. Was this the right call? What should the U.S. be doing now? You talked partially about that, to defeat Russia without escalating the situation. But talk about the cancellation of that missile test.
I think that's fine. I used to work at the White House for President Obama. We used to do that from time to time in terms of when there were tense moments. And it's about misperceptions that we are worried about. So I think that's a prudent move. We do not want to escalate. We do not want to get into a war with Russia. I completely 100% support the president when he says we're not going to enforce a no-fly zone, because that's tantamount to declaring war. But anything short of that, I think we need to be doing as much as we can.
One more question for you, Ambassador McFaul. Given what we learned this week about Putin being misinformed by his advisors and now reporting that Putin is conscripting 100,000+ new conscripts, what does this tell you about how things might get worse for Putin's war?
Well, I'm a little skeptical about that reporting that he was misinformed. We have no way to check our intelligence community, but I wonder about that. And maybe that's some disinformation game we're playing about him, and maybe he wants to signal that he's upset with his generals. And most certainly, the reporting I read from Russian sources is that he's very upset with the way the war is going. But I think you raise a very good point. The draft just happened. This is normal standard operating procedure in Russia. April 1st is one of those days. And I think it has been a tremendous success by the Ukrainian military so far. And at the same time, Russia has tremendous military capacity still left. And that makes me worried and frankly, concerned that this war is going to go on for a long time.